Today's video is sponsored by Nerdarchy's Out-of-the-Box Encounters. Creating fun and engaging encounters is a challenge that every Dungeon Master faces, but now you can crack open out-of-the-box encounters. Save yourself some prep time and blow your players' minds with over 55 unique encounters. New monsters, including new legendary creatures, lairs, and regional effects. New magic items adventurers will really have to earn. Map packs for every encounter to put down on your table, and flat plastic miniatures for each encounter. Check out their Kickstarter, which has smashed every stretch goal so far. Get in on exclusive pricing and rewards and download your free encounter now. Click the link in the description below. And now what you're here for. How my party actually worked together. Strap in, boys and girls, this one's gonna take a while. A while back I was looking for a campaign to just jump into for a session or two, while my usual group sorted itself out and decided if they wanted to keep playing. The only group that had a spot was a high-level group playing a 5e version of the 2e group grinder Labyrinth of Madness. I had heard rumors of this party killing Hellmaze and said, screw it, it's just for a session or two. The DM let me roll a character at level 17, so I opted for a high elf evocation wizard. The group had literally been brute forcing their way through this dungeon and needed some magical assistance. At this point, the party consisted of a half-elf bard from the College of Lore, with whom my character got along wonderfully. We also had a human war cleric, a faithful follower of Tyr that was hell-bent on proving that Drow could be saved thanks to the might of Tyr. That, and he really wanted to bring down some holy judgment. He wasn't bad for a human, certainly the most sane character after the bard. Next was the Wood Elf Moon Druid. He was a new player, and the DM rolled his character for him. With a little experience, I'm sure that guy could handle half of the monsters in this dungeon on his own. It was that stacked. Then we come to the last three members of our party. First up was the Halfling Monk, Way of the Open Hand. This little gobshite was chaos incarnate. His cheery disposition, coupled with complete naivete and his penchant for curious exploration to have fun, made it very evident why they were brute forcing the dungeon. The short train wreck needed a leash and a bell on him. Then there was the super edgelordy Black Dragonborn Shadow Monk / Rogue Naruto Weeb character that literally did nothing but sneak through shadows and use his Dragon Breath attack. That's it. That's all he did. He avoided everything we tried to do and just went on his own half the time. Lastly, we had our Dwarf Oathbreaker Paladin. This freaking guy. Right off the bat, his character irked me to no end. He had a catchphrase, that everything was pathetic. Party says no? Pathetic. Player needs healing? Pathetic. Nothing happening? Pathetic. And why yes, he was neutral evil. Why the DM allowed it, I don't know. I thought I'd only be here for a session or two, so it didn't matter. I was so wrong. Fast forward to what we think is the boss fight of this dungeon. Our paladin had died in an unfortunate accident involving his body being swapped with a giant bug. The player then got to roll a new character, since he was the only one who had died at this point through the entire dungeon. He decided to roll a 12-year-old half-elf Hexblade. Our entire table facepalmed, and we found ourselves reminding the player his character is 12 all the time. As for our edgelord Shadow Monk, the player stopped showing up for whatever reason. To compensate for this sudden loss of a party member, the DM summoned a Planetar to aid us, sent by the cleric's god, Tyr. And now here we are, standing before a fallen titan, a 9-headed hydra, and a death tyrant, atop an ancient ziggurat. Let's boogie. It is at this point that the Hexblade informs the group they only have one spell slot left, and one Mystic Arcanum that can be used in this fight. He tries to plead with the DM for a short rest, but the rest of the party is relatively at full, so we all say no. We've gone too far at this point. I tell him not to worry, that I have a plan for him. The Titan is going off on his stereotypical big bad evil speech. Join me, blah blah, suffer, blah blah blah. Our druid says, screw this crap, and immediately shape changes into a hulking adult brass dragon. The DM allows it to happen first, and has us all roll for initiative. I don't recall how exactly turn order went, but I do know I was second in the order. The Hexblade decided to just fire off an Eldritch Blast at the Hydra, all of which hit, and pushed it off the edge of the ziggurat we were fighting on, causing it to fall 20 feet to the level below. On my turn, I looked to the Hexblade and said, how bad do you want to fly? The puzzled look on his face turned to absolute glee when I said I cast True Polymorph and turned our Hexblade into another adult brass dragon. Our monk then went about trying to Quivering Palm the Titan, forcing him to use 2 of his legendary resistances to avoid the effect, but allowed himself to be hit with a stunning strike. Our cleric then casts Anti-Magic Field around himself and the Death Tyrant. The Planetar casts Insect Plague on the Titan. Our druid went about attacking the Hydra, attempting to keep it at bay, and our bard attempted to cast Feeble Mind on the Titan, forcing him to use his last legendary resistance. As for the enemies, the Death Tyrant flew out of the anti-magic field and hit the Hexblade for 70-something damage with his beams. The Hydra spent its time trying to get back up, and the Titan tried to hit the Druid with some sort of spell, which I countered. The next turn order is when things went absolutely insane. The Hexblade proceeded to batter the crap out of the Hydra. I overchanneled Cone of the Cold on the Titan. The Planetar tossed the Monk like a missile at the Death Cleric, who then volleyball spiked the Death Tyrant into the anti-magic field, where the Cleric immediately grappled it, and the Druid continued its ranged assault on the Hydra. Then the Bard got the most devilish look in her eyes. She reminded the party that the Titan had used all its legendary resistances. She immediately casts Otto's Irresistible Dance on the Titan. The DM shrugged and thought nothing of it, but my eyes met the Bard's and I knew what must be done. For the monster's turn, the Death Tyrant failed to break the Cleric's grip. The Hydra sounded like Ghidorah getting his skull stomped in by two Godzillas, and the Titan was dancing around, flailing and missing. None of his legendary actions were slowing us down. The Hexblade continued to do what they were doing alongside the Druid, raining down breath attacks thanks to some wonderful dice rolls. On my turn, I looked to the Bard, and then to the DM. I cast Grease on the Titan. The DM's grin suddenly vanished. He watched as his dice rolls failed, and his big bad evil guy was reduced to nothing more than Nicolas Cage, flailing and swatting at a swarm of bees in his face, lying flat on his butt covered in grease. As for our monk, he set about trying to attack the Hydra alongside the Planetar. Meanwhile, our cleric, thinking of no other alternative, as he was a bit of a hardcore in-character type of player, proceeded to headbutt the damn Death Tyrant. All of this was too much, and we were all laughing our heads off. We finished the Death Tyrant and the Hydra off in between fits of laughter. Needless to say, I had found a new group to play with. Thank you for watching. Before we discuss the video, one more quick word about our sponsor. Nerdarchy have been a bastion of creativity and encouragement for DMs of all ages and experience levels. Those aren't my words, that's from the legend himself, Matt Mercer of Critical Role. Out-of-the-box Encounters was designed with that philosophy and is a must-have for veteran dungeon masters or someone ready to take the leap and run their first game. If you're like me and can't paint miniatures, I recommend getting the Arknight pack, which is a steal. You'll be using these minis for years, and I can't wait until I get my hands on mine. Become a part of history by attending the inaugural Nerdarchy Convention, Halloween Weekend 2020 in the Philadelphia area. There will be workshops, panels, charity games, and the biggest RPG and D&D YouTubers. Make sure you don't miss out on pre-sale badge pricing. Click the link in the description below. Late pledge is available for a limited amount of time. Be sure to make your pledge before prices go up. It's amazing what players can accomplish when they actually work together. True polymorph to Double Dragon. The DM never saw it coming. A lesson in teamwork for sure. Please let us know what you think by commenting below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel All Things D&D. Our next video will be posted in 3 days, so stay tuned for more amazing Dungeons & Dragons content.